How to fill out a Texas buyer/tenant representation agreement. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. And full disclaimer before I even go there, this video is for informational and educational purposes only. If you need advice, go seek it from your broker. I'm not here to give you advice, simply here to share and entertain, if nothing else. But that being said, let's dive into the form here. You'll see on the screen. So we got parties, right? So the parties are your client, that's your buyer or tenant, and however many there are. So if there's one buyer, if there's a couple, whatever it is, you put both their legal names here, as well as an address for at least one of them. So address and then phone number, email. It's good to get both if there's more than one. That way you can all stay on the same page with everything. It's especially important with married couples. Believe it or not, they don't always talk to each other and tell each other every single thing going on. So it's up to you to keep everyone on the same page. But broker, that's self-explanatory. I mean, broker name, whatever the legal name is of your brokerage firm, as well as address, phone number, email. I like to put my phone number, email as the point of contact here, but do what's suitable for your situation. And then and you're gonna see a lot of this form, by the way, is standard language. And I know contract language is not the most exciting thing to us, but I would highly recommend reading every single word of this, getting familiar with what it says. That way you look sharp and sound sharp when someone asks you a question as you're getting this signed and finalized. So it's not very complicated. Each paragraph has a purpose. And some paragraphs don't even have a blank for you to fill in. How about that? It's like appointment. So I'm not even going to explain that. I'm going to focus on the blanks and what actually would need to be filled in. So market area. This is to specify what area this buyer representation agreement applies to. And so you want to make sure that any area that you are going to be searching in is covered here. So you can use a county. You could use a city. I like to use counties because it covers a broad area while at the same time, makes a point of reference to somewhere on the map. So you could say whatever county, you could specify multiple counties. I mean, technically you could actually put an address here. If someone, for whatever reason, didn't really want to sign one of these, maybe you could get their agreement on a specific address, that you're helping them purchase. Although I prefer counties, but whatever's suitable for the situation here. Term is when it starts and when it ends. So you'll put the start date, the end date, and you got more language without blanks to fill in. But at the top of this, you're going to see that there's a line, it says buyer-tenant representation agreement between who? So that's the parties. So you'll put your broker, comma, essentially whatever you put here, you'll put there. So you'll put buyer one, buyer two, broker, or vice versa. It's who the agreement's for, and that way all these pages are in reference to the same exact thing and it's clear. And then representations, you only got one blank here, but name of any employer, relocation company, or entity that will provide benefits to client when acquiring property in the market area. That's probably only going to be something you ever see if it's a corporate relocation or something of that nature. So otherwise, that's going to be a blank that remains blank, but if applicable, make sure the right info goes there. So intermediary. Yes or no to this, essentially, we either will have it or won't have it. In layman's terms, if you are going to be potentially offering on a property listed by your brokerage, you're going to want intermediary status because that's going to allow your broker to serve as the intermediary between the buyer and the seller, each of whom will respectively have their own agent. So intermediary status, if you would like to have the ability to offer on properties listed by your own firm, or better yet, your client would like that, if they would like that. So if they're wondering what that means, that's what it means. And there's a lot more language there that you can read to better understand. And then broker fees. So I'm going to dive into this, but I got something I got to say on my mind. So it's a curious thought to me on how you're going to YouTube to get help with the contract. Because to me, it's like, that's one of the core things a broker should be there to help you with. So if you don't have a system in place where you can actually learn your contracts at your current firm, might be worth assessing to see what else is out there. Like, so for instance, the firm I run my business at, we have weekly contracts classes that our broker team puts on. And there's even recordings available for people that miss it in real time. And with that, we get our newly licensed agents up to speed very quickly on how to really navigate these contracts, even beyond a basic level. I'd say at an advanced level, because they go into detail on different aspects of different contracts every single week. So just curious thought, if you don't have that, might be worth assessing. And you know, we can connect further. You'll see a way to do that in the description below if you like. But hey, back to this. Commissions, that's whatever commission you're going to work for. So that's up to you. You know, a lot of people comment, you know, up to this point, at least, things might change here in the very near future. If you're watching this, you know, at this point in time, but a lot of people, I don't know, it's interesting. I talked to a lot of newly licensed agents. Some people don't really know what commission they're working for if you ask them. And some people think they're working for whatever's being offered on the property. Well, reality is, if you're getting a buyer's representation agreement done up front, you get to decide what you're working for. So you'll put your percent in here, whatever that might be. Option 1 is for a purchase. Option 2 is for a lease. And so make sure you're using, you know, what's appropriate for the given, you know, goal of the, I mean, are they a buyer? Are they a tenant? You know, and put the appropriate, you know, blank, make sure that's filled in here. This is gonna have all details around the commission, where it's coming from. I would be an expert at what all this says because it will help you to convey that to your clients when needed. And then construction, this is applicable in a situation where the house is being built from the ground up. So probably not gonna be used unless y'all are specifically looking at new construction homes that aren't already built. And then, I mean, I've never really had to use this, but if there's a situation in which you're thinking that might apply, I would definitely go to your broker and get their input on exactly what to put there. Protection period, this is to protect your commission. So for a certain amount of days, you're essentially protected if the buyer goes out and, you know, buys a property beyond this agreement, and that's what the protection period is. So it's however many days. It could be 30 days, 60 days, whatever, you know, the amount of days is that, I mean, and your broker probably will have some input on this too, of like, hey, what is standard for the brokerage, or, you know, what do they recommend there? They can give you some input if needed. And then county, amounts payable to broker are to be paid in cash in whatever county. So that's probably the county that it's either the county that you're in or the brokerage is in, and it might be one in the same, probably is one in the same in a lot of situations, but that's what would go there. It's wherever, you know, the commissions are going to be paid and settled. So essentially, where's the closing going to happen of the property? So I would just go with that county, whatever, you know, county y'all will be closing in. And then addenda. And so one more note on my mind, with these things as far as contracts, not only is it important to have an opportunity to learn them, just like what we're doing here, but like, who do you turn to when you actually need these things reviewed? Like, before you even go to a client to get stuff signed, you have another set of eyes on it. Because I know when I got started, I didn't even have like a local mentor, you know, that I was paired up with. Even though I joined literally the largest brokerage in my local market that was known for their training, I didn't even get paired up with someone to give me another set of eyes on something as I was working my first few deals. It was scary. I had to get resourceful and figure it out. And honestly, YouTube wasn't as big as what is now back then. So I don't even know if there was a video showing how to do this on YouTube. Probably not in 2015. But point is, it's like, do you have a mentor? If you don't have a mentor, why don't you have a mentor? Because literally every single newly licensed agent I work with, I help them get paired up with a certified mentor in their local market. And part of the biggest thing the mentor does is helping with situations like this, like when you're actually starting to work with your first few clients, to give you input, to give you another set of eyes and make sure things are done the right way. So if you don't have that, like, shoot, maybe we should talk. Like, book a call with me if you want. You'll have a link to do that in the description below, but happy to help you explore what actually having a higher level of support would look like if you don't already have that in place in your current situation. But back to the contract, we have some addenda that we can include here. You want to check any applicable boxes, IABS, information about brokerage services. You're going to want that done. And then anything else that will apply to the specific transaction. I mean, wire fraud warning, your broker might want that signed. I know mine does. So probably it's a one-page document, super simple. And then anything else that is applicable, you will check the appropriate box. Special provisions, if anything's needed there. And I would 100% get your broker's input if you were to put any language whatsoever here, even at the buyer's request. I mean, generally speaking, it's better if it comes from the buyer because we're not allowed to practice law as real estate agents. So we can't really, you know, write contract provisions or terms. That has to be done by a you know, legal professional or potentially the client. But again, I would not even use that without getting approval from the broker on anything that could potentially go in there. And then some more information here. Good to know everything this says so that you can convey it to the clients. And then you've got the signature page, which by the way, up to this point, we've got boxes. So initials, broker associate, so if that's you, you would initial there, and then clients each initial, and then final page signed. So that's the brokerage name, whatever the firm name is, the firm license number, and then who is signing for it, broker associate. You check that box if that's you, and then dates, and then broker associate name if applicable, and then all the client's information. So a lot of that's self-explanatory. And hopefully that helps. And I want to mention a couple more things. So I mentioned, hey, make sure you have the appropriate addenda. I'm going to make another video showing how to actually fill out a contract, because if you're doing one of these for a purchase, you're going to need to know how to fill out a contract. And that's, I don't want to say more important than this, but I mean, reality is you're talking about terms of an actual transaction someone's going to close on. This is just really to protect your commission and make sure that, you know, the client has proper representation. But, you know, where the money and dollars really come in is what you negotiate in the contract. And it's imperative that you know how to navigate that the correct way, which brings me back to like one last thing here. It's like, who do you have in your corner? Who do you have to turn to? Because it just makes me wonder if you don't have the ability to get an understanding of the contracts easily in your current brokerage situation. Like, what other holes might there be in your business? You know, because like, for example, I get to tap into a team of managing brokers, literally 14 full-time managing brokers on staff in Texas, where I'm like, I can go to any one of them. And that's why I can get that support 7 to 7, 7 days a week. So 7 a.m., 7 p.m., 7 days a week. If I need a broker's help, I get it within 2 or 3 minutes tops, every single time, like clockwork. If I had a pressing situation, I'm gonna be in front of them talking with them, they're gonna walk me through. If you don't have that, again, it makes me wonder, what else are you missing out on? Because part of what that whole team of people does, it's like they'd get bored if they weren't helping people all week, every week, right? As crazy as that might sound. So some of them like to put on like additional classes and trainings. Not only do they have contracts classes with the recordings, they do that every week, but they also do a fast track to 6 figures. That's a business planning class. That's intended to help newly licensed agents get to the point where they're highly productive in their business as soon as possible. If you don't have that team behind you, what else like will you not have when you need it? What else, I mean, might be there to help you take your business to the next point? So if you'd be open-minded, if it would be helpful potentially to have more in the way of real-time and help and resources like that, I'd be happy to help you explore it. So you'll find a link in the description below to book a call with me. Again, no obligation, no cost, but genuinely, if you're having to go to YouTube in these situations, I mean, I'm happy to help and share free resources with you here on the channel, but like, what else could there be in your business that could truly help you get more of that real-time help and support and have more to take your business and life to the next level that you might not already have in your current situation? So if you'd be open-minded to exploring that, go ahead and use the link below in the description to schedule a call with me. I'm happy to take the time out of my day to see if we can improve upon your situation and bring more value to the table than you might be getting at your current brokerage. And that being said, that's the buyer tenant representation agreement. I hope this was helpful, insightful. If it was, all I ask is that you hit the subscribe button. That way I can continue to share more information and resources with you in the time ahead. And That being said, I will see you on the next video.